Welcome back to another edition of Birds of a Feather. This time we're back. We're going to a visual stage.
A
It's
little,
2022.
little differently this time, right?
A little differently. We're figuring it's time to probably catch up with all the other bloggers who are really good at this shit because apparently I'm not. Eddie's been patiently waiting for like 45 minutes for me to figure out what the hell I was doing. Um, whatever. We'll get.
All
I'll get
good.
better.
All good.
It's all good. Anyway, so Ed, we're playoff time. This is the real one now. This is one of those games that we don't know. I would not bet money on this game. I'll tell you that much.
No,
Could
not
go.
not doing that.
So
There's a lot of games this weekend. I wouldn't touch at all.
now we can discuss why that is. Not necessarily because we don't believe in our birds. It's just the realism of this matchup.
Oh, it can go either way.
It could go either way because I didn't realize it was week 6 that the Eagles. Speaking of who are joining us, Philadelphia Eagles fans, Philly all day. Well, old day.
Mhm.
The Eagles playing Brady again. This time he's getting some of his horses back that were injured before, like Shaquille Barrett, Fournette. I can't remember if Game 6 if they were all in there at that time, but I just
No,
know
they had everybody.
they had everybody.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
mean they had Godwin. I mean they don't have Goodwin this time around, which is
yeah, they don't have
good.
Godwin. Yeah,
Which is good for us that they don't have him.
it is good. We don't have to deal with crazy Antonio Brown.
That is true.
I should,
Talented but crazy.
yeah, very talented. I'm sorry, I should say talented first because obviously that's why we even know who he is. But
Yeah, true.
he's hanging out with Madonna and Ye and whatever now. Anyway, so let's just talk about basics. I wanted to discuss in general why this game has not only some indications of the future for Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, but also has indications of does this team need to add more to the offense that we thought, or can we get away with what we have, obviously, until draft day, which is in a couple months? What do you feel like is most important that they need to focus on? Because we're not going to see anything too different, I would think, with this team, because anything
No.
too different will really be shocking, and I don't think they'll be able to adapt well if they
Oh
try to
yeah.
go crazy in the scheme.
Oh yeah. You don't want to ruin what chemistry they do have. I mean
Right.
that's the thing. I mean they have. Yeah, they're gonna need some. They're gonna need great play out of. They're gonna need great play out of. They're gonna need a good running game going into this game. I mean, that is one way to be effective against Brady is to minimize the time that he's on the field
Well,
and run the ball.
the running game is definitely stressed, but we know the reality that Miles has broken hand, and the fact that he's going to still play kind of makes me nervous. I would hope he would be a decoy in place of
Mm,
Josh, what is it, Jordan Howard and Boston Scott, because Jordan Howard hasn't been on the injury list, so obviously the stinger is not an issue.
no, I think it's still an issue. I mean, stingers don't go away that fast. I mean,
Yeah, they don't, but for it to be impacting him wanting to be part of practice to me would be a sign that he's obviously usable. I mean, let's just
mm,
put it this way: we have always kind of been at a disadvantage no matter what in the running game, unless we ran by committee. There's never been a standout running back by himself since Westbrook days, and maybe even after that, a little shady,
no, you're talking about Shady. I mean, Shady.
shady, obviously.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying.
you can't discount Shady.
No, but I mean, like in
Yeah.
terms of like that's how long it's been that we've had somebody consistent because we seem to always go back and forth with whether or not Miles is our number one or does he sometimes not able
Well,
to
and
hit the ground.
the problem with him is that he one. There's two factors when you talk about him. It's like okay, is the health factor and also the fact that he was severely underused.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like that he kind of got the short end when it comes to that. Like they was okay. They're not going to run the ball.
Hmm.
And he got a perfectly good running back sitting there on the shelf, and they're not running the ball.
I mean, we saw him run like a track star in the first year or so that he was there, but then it seems like you said, they didn't know how to use him. And then I felt like he didn't really get even a lot of breakthroughs
Well,
this year with his
I wouldn't even
time.
say not know how to use them. It's just they wouldn't. The coaches didn't put in their schemes. They just wouldn't run the ball. You
True.
throw the ball 40 fucking times. I mean, like,
Yeah.
sorry,
No, you're right.
just crazy. Like, come
You know
on.
me, I don't have a problem. I'm cursing all the time.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not gonna tell you shh. Um,
yeah.
this is an adult pod.
Be like Captain America, like language.
Yeah. Honk. But
Mhm.
no, at this point, like I think the thing with Shady that irks me, I mean not Shady, I'm sorry, Miles that irks me is that sometimes I think when he's had the opportunities within this year and even last Sometimes I don't think he really broke a tackle the way he wanted to, or run on the outside without running out of bounds, as so many people pointed out this season. I don't know if there was that would could contribute to them not gelling right away. Maybe that's why. Or was it the fact that, like you said, they probably still didn't want to use him a lot because they wanted to see what Jalen could bring
Yeah.
early in the season.
I mean, it's a crazy thing. I mean, now we got great. I mean, look at the offensive line is playing like they've been playing great.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
for the past like,
everything's gelled now.
I mean, you got to give Stoutland. You got to tip your hat to Jeff Stoutland. I mean, he
Yeah,
is one of the
yeah,
best offensive line coaches in the business. I
he's definitely
mean,
getting his little props.
I mean, even
Regionally, should I
even
say?
even 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 when he's had nobodies, he was still able to put together a package that could run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is a definition of garbage into gold. I mean, and not saying necessarily everybody's garbage, but if you didn't have the injury situation, you had guys that just weren't available.
Yeah, and
So,
he got a lot of young, inexperienced guys that he's able to get the best out of them.
I
You
mean,
know,
so what do we really feel? I mean, do we feel kind of dread, or are we feeling more like take each quarter as it comes? Because
I
I'm
mean,
kind of cautious up until me. I always love the fourth quarter. I always feel like the
yeah,
fourth quarter tells all.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I'm hoping for. I was talking to somebody about this. I was like, I want a boring game because if it's boring, that means we're in it still.
we're in it, yeah.
I want a boring game. I want them to run the ball down their throats. I mean, and keep Brady off the field as much as possible. Hopefully, it's a nasty weather day,
It
and,
is.
and, and disrupt him. Like just get in his face because you know what, you're not going to beat Brady by blitzing him all day long. You got to mix it
No,
up
I
because
was hearing that.
he's smart enough to read through these blitzes. You can't blitz. You can't send the house against Brady. Okay,
Well,
you can
lucky
blitz.
for us, Gannon doesn't like to blitz, so
Yeah,
that might
I
actually work
mean,
out.
yeah, you can send one guy to disrupt it a little bit, and that'll help. But drop everybody else in the coverage because you don't want to give him too much.
Well,
You know,
if Sweat gets better, because they're saying he has a stomach bug, I'm hoping that he's the only guy we can use. But they might have to play around a
man,
lot with that
man,
because
he better sack up and get his ass in this game
I mean
because
he's Florida State. I'm sure he'll play.
yeah,
I'm sure
he'll
they're just
play. He'll play. He'll
guys
play.
like him are probably just like, I'm just down for practice. Doesn't mean I'm not playing for the game.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
show up, but I'm just not practicing now. But I
Yeah,
look at it this way. I think the reason why it's easy to be cautious is because we know we get our hopes up, but realistically, we know how they've been consistently all season. Even though they went on a good run, we also
yeah.
know that their weaknesses will shine a lot because talented wise, they're not anything compared to the Bucks, with or without the people that they have now. So my question is, would you even think a win is possible, or is it more like they'd have to really do everything perfect? And we know they're not
Uh,
perfect.
I don't think they have to be perfect to win, but I think they can surprise them without being perfect. I think they can. I think they can. I think they can surprise them. I mean, if the first half will tell. Like, we'll see by the first half if it's like if they come out and they follow that game plan of not letting Brady. Brady's going to get his. You know he is.
Yeah, oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm
and
not doubting that.
you just have to limit him as much as possible.
Yeah, I
And
think
you
the
got
one thing is just
he got to go.
disrupt them.
Yeah, you got to. It's like a boxing match. You got to go punch for punch with them. You
Right,
have to,
right.
and that's what Foles had to do in the Super Bowl. He had to go punch for punch with this guy.
Foles was very regimented in how he did his, he followed everything by the book, which was good because I think he almost seemed very possessed
Oh
during
yeah, yo, he definitely
that and the NFC
he
Championship game.
he
But
definitely played outside of himself. You know, it was
he
like
did, which was
crazy.
that's why I say it was, me being a spiritual girl. I say, look, it's all God because nothing in that game smelled of Foles at all. Literally after that game.
He caught lightning in a bottle. It was
Oh my
like,
God, we
it
all
was
did. I
like,
mean, I
yeah,
mean, for Corey Clement is a damn cowboy now.
boo.
He bounced around since he left here, and that was his best year ever. I
He's
mean,
dead. He's dead to me now. He's a cowboy. So
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, I
yeah,
still love him. I mean, I follow his mother, so shout out. But
yeah,
she's a nice lady. But look at it this way: that year was for him being a rookie. I mean, a lot of people got a lot of spotlight in that game, surprisingly so. You know what I mean? And it's
mm,
just stuff like that doesn't happen again. So, I guess what I'm trying to say, like you said, catch lightning in a bottle for sure. Or do we just need the guys to play consistent? I mean, is that really the question? Because
yeah,
consistency really is what's going to determine to me a win in this
yeah.
team.
If we can get consistent play and
We can get Jalen to throw deep at least once or twice and actually have them connect.
He's gonna have to make a couple big plays to win this game. He's
If
gonna have
not
to.
his feet, yeah. If
Yeah,
not his feet, through the air. If not
yeah.
both.
He's gonna have to get downfield a couple times because Brady will.
I
He's
want
gonna
a
have to.
dramatic like Dallas Goddard and or Devonta Smith in the end zone
Oh
play. Like
yeah,
I
well,
want one of those at least,
and
if not both.
we're gonna have to take the stance on the offensive side. We got to take one. We got to take what they give us. They give us the underneath. We take the underneath with Dallas Goddard.
And
You
please
know,
sack. Like they never seem to sack Brady except for the
oh,
last minute. We need a sack.
it's so hard to sack Brady
It
though.
is, but
Oh
that's what I'm
God.
saying. Like that's where the blitz to me, I agree. We don't need to blitz as much for this game because he's too smart. But I mean, now he's feeling confident running 12 yards. So I'm needing somebody to just clothesline his ass in the middle
Yeah.
of the field if we got to. Do
Yeah,
what you
let
got to
him.
do.
Yeah,
No hold barred.
watch him when he's taking his 3 second drops. That's what he does. The 3 second drop, he lets the ball go.
He's gonna know
So
how to slide just as you start to get like warmed up. He's gonna be like, psych.
yeah,
He's gonna dip.
right.
But all right, so
Yeah.
we're both kind of the same boat in the sense that anything's possible. Let's put it that way. So we'll both agree that anything's possible with this game.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's just go back to speaking of Brady because this is a very popular social media subject. Obviously, we got to talk shit during the week of a playoff game because we don't know what to talk about. But people are still harping about, which I'm over now, but the whole not shaking Foles' hand at the last game. Now, mind you, I didn't care either. But at the time when we were watching that Chicago game, I was a little mad. But I thought about it later and I said, well, was that the same game that he forgot the downs or was that another game? Because I thought it was one of those games where he was just so thrown off toward the end of that game that he didn't even want to
well,
talk about shaking hands. Not
I
that it matters.
mean, I mean, he's one of those guys like you can tell like he knew he's in his head he was supposed to win that game.
Yeah.
And he let his emotions get the best of him, and he just was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna whatever. I'm not gonna shake the other quarterback's hand."
Because you saw his comment to it recently. Because when he brought it up, they were like, "Do you know that the fans are obsessed about this?" And I said to myself, "That sounds so bad now because it's like a year later, and it's like our loser ass, sensitive ass is over here going, we still mad."
I mean,
When
we're
you
talking
hear people
about
talk about it, it seems so stupid and petty. But at the time, yeah, it did kind of annoy me.
yeah. I
But
mean,
if he lost to Jalen, do you really think now he wouldn't shake his hand, like knowing that
uh,
people are actually watching his ass? I don't know.
you don't know. It all depends what mindset he's in by the end of this
True,
game.
you're right.
You
If
know,
they get to literally tit for tat, you got to shake somebody's hand knowing that he still didn't back down no matter how hard
yeah.
you hit. So that's just respect. But yeah, I thought it was petty too. But all right, so moving on, since we are in the crux of this whoop assing that the Sixers are giving the Celtics right now, thank God.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, they're still up double digits right now.
72 to 87 currently.
Yeah,
So,
yep,
all right. So they've been playing very impressive. So here's the thing with this lineup. We did not expect this Sixers year to go the way it has, obviously,
yeah.
with the light skinned gentleman delaying our progress this year on the personnel side. I shall not speak of his name. But we know that also it shouldn't really mean that the whole team has to go to shit either. Now, a lot of things to me revealed itself as soon as it became obvious that the name that is not coming back really was like, hey, fuck y'all, I ain't coming back. So to me, it made me realize that one, Embiid realized that he was not taking the lead as much as he should have been all this time. I think at
Mhm.
some point he is always used to someone else, and I don't think anyone really wanted to lead ever on these teams. I'm starting to think that now I look back, I don't think every loss in every playoff game was directly a result of just that dude or Embiid not doing it or Tobias not doing it. I think the fact that they never really had a true leader is the reason why they've never gotten past the second round of playoffs. And there's a time where Embiid can say all he wants to say in a press conference, but there was also that lack of communication that really is probably what transpired to all this bullshit now. Because to me, when you're not a team, it shows, and no matter how you try to hide it,
Yeah.
And I wonder now if Embiid has realized how important it was to be a leader, that he wasn't doing it when that other player was still there. Do you think that maybe now he realizes how important his role is on the team?
Yeah, I mean, he has definitely he stepped it up, and I mean, even when they talk to him, he's like, "Well, what do you want?" He's like, "Well, I want to win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care I don't care about my stats. I don't care about this. I want to win. I want that chip.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he wants, and he's clearly stated that on multiple occasions. is that that's what he wants is that chip, and not caring about anything else, not caring about his contract, not caring about
Yeah,
even about other players not playing. Ben Simmons not playing. I just said his name. Sorry,
it's okay. You can say it. I refuse.
but yeah. So I mean, it's just
But do you think that I mean, we enjoyed him when he was being silly and funny, but you realize in the last couple of years, it
he's
wasn't funny
matured.
anymore.
He's
Right.
matured. Yeah.
Yeah. And not just
I
because
mean,
he was
he's
bad,
still
but
he's still a big control.
he is.
He is,
But he
and
does it at the right times now,
yeah,
as opposed to
yeah.
just doing it every night,
And
like,
he's still having fun out there, which is good. I want him to keep it loose and have fun.
and it's not
You
just
know,
him now, it's because he is having fun, which means Maxie's
else
not as
around
tight.
him,
Right.
everybody else around him is, and
Maxie's not
that's
as tight. Matisse is starting to realize where he needs to be, even though
yeah,
Matisse still struggles with his offense. And tonight, he has definitely stepped up in the last couple of games because, but although they lost the other night, and I think that was just partially fatigue. I don't know if that was necessarily
yeah. I mean, they just
the
rattled
team
off
being bad.
they just rattled off 7 in a row.
Right. And if they got that eighth one, it would have been nice. But at some point, you knew they were going
Yeah,
to probably be like, we
but
can't. Like, I'm
yeah,
tired.
and they're still, saying he should not be named. They need that piece that
Yeah.
they're still missing that guy on the floor.
They're still
You
missing a
know,
forward and solid point guard. I
you're
mean,
talking you're talking about a max player that's all of a sudden not in your lineup. You know,
okay, so let's not
and
let's not
that's
avoid the obvious talk because I don't want to be dissing Tobias. But has he been a disappointment for a max player? Yes, he has.
yeah,
But let's be honest. Last year he had a huge improvement in terms of production up until the playoffs when everybody
hmm
else started petering out.
yeah,
So this year everybody and their mama got COVID. So I feel like this year they're kind of allowed to slack off to a degree. But
yeah. Well,
obviously the aforementioned player not being there didn't help.
yeah,
But
you can see the like health wise,
yeah.
they're not there. You can tell. Like now there you see them start. Players are getting healthier and they're playing better. But you also see like certain nights they're a little off.
I
You
mean, within the
see,
last week, they all started slowly getting their strength back, but they
yeah.
weren't playing that way for months,
I mean, even see, look at Seth. Seth has more pep in
Yeah.
his step this year around
Yeah.
because of last year because he was like beat up because of
Right.
COVID and whatever else last year for him.
He was the first person to really show that it took that long for him to get progress back, and they still made the playoffs. So that's why this year, I don't know what to
Yeah,
think because I feel like they lost too much to get playoffs this year. If they do get the 6th seed, that'll be as good as it gets, I think, personally.
I mean they're still right. They're still what 4 games out right now. I
Yeah.
mean
I mean,
from
it's
the
better than
top.
being in the play-in tournament. I know they're out of that bracket,
Oh
but
yeah,
I mean, because that's
and I think they're going to continue to get better as long as they keep playing. Like whatever Doc's doing with the lineup right now is helping. They're playing better together.
I'm just confused only with Doc because I'm still trying to figure out is he a good coach or not? Because I'm still trying to figure out if he's even helping them or are they just starting to realize what they need to do
No,
themselves?
he's a good coach, AJ. I mean, you're
You
talking about
think
one of them.
so?
You talking about one of the most he has like look at his win percentage. He's like one of the best coaches out there. I mean,
The only reason why I say is just because I felt like a lot of times this year it's like we used to harp on what's his name, Brett Brown, about substitutions. I think
yeah,
sometimes even Doc has issues with knowing when to leave
yeah,
Matisse in and when
but
to take him out.
also Doc's at a disadvantage of this being tougher time as far as like having players
Yeah,
available to himself. It's not like when Brett Brown was playing, he had everybody that was available. It's like he didn't have to worry about COVID. He didn't have to worry about I
true.
don't have this guy, I don't have this guy. I mean, he's putting together these lineups to the best of his ability right now. And he's got to dress guys from the blue coats to actually play
Yeah.
for him.
I mean, yeah. I mean, shout out to Charlie Brown and
Yeah,
who's the other guy,
did
the
they give
backup
him another
center.
10-day contract or no? Are they gonna
I thought they signed him. I
did they
thought I saw
sign him?
something he got a contract. I thought I saw that's what the
Huh.
announcement was because he's from Northeast
Is
Philly, which I
is
didn't know.
yeah, he also went to St. Joe's too, yeah.
Oh, St. Joe's. That's right.
It was
Right.
St. Joe's or Temple, one of them. I think
I think it's
yeah.
St. Joe's because
St. Joe's,
I
yeah.
remember them talking about St. Joe's. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
So
he's a bright person.
yeah.
And then who's the backup center? The guy Bassey.
Bassey,
Bassey,
yeah.
yeah.
Bassey comes from the Blue Coats too, yeah.
Yeah,
So
blue coats have definitely helped them out, but you're right. But then
well,
I also look across the league, NBA. Everybody said they
every
needed
team is
a
dipping into their
10-day
D League.
player
Every
because that's
team
how much
is
COVID wiped everybody out.
yeah. Every team is dipping into their D League team right now.
Yeah,
They have been like, oh, you got to come up, you got to dress. How many times have you heard a team say, "Oh, they can barely dress 8 players for the night"? It's
this is
crazy,
true. Yeah. But I mean, that's why it was a disadvantage with us already losing one of our point guards, because on top of the
Yeah.
fact that he wasn't there, it was the fact that COVID wiped them out. So they had to lose a lot of games because they didn't have the strength. But then Niang has come up. Niang has helped in certain spots.
Oh
But
yeah.
I just hope that the
He's
problem is the rotating roster is going to be
I
annoying
think
come
he's
this year.
I don't know you don't hear me say this, but I think he's a better Mike Scott.
No, I agree. I mean, Mike
You
Scott
know,
had his heyday. I agree. I mean,
oh yeah,
but when he
but
was here, he was fun.
he's consistent. He can score. You know, he can
I think
do,
Mike, once he got the plantar fasciitis and all that stuff, like just like with what Tobias is struggling with, that's all it was with Mike was health. Like I think after a while,
Yeah, and,
he couldn't get
at one point, he lost his legs. His legs went underneath him like
right.
after a while, and then
Yeah.
it's hard. That's hard. Especially when you get
It
up there
is.
in age, like that's hard.
Well, as you know, we were just talking about this before we recorded. It's like your body just doesn't want to do anything anymore, no matter what you do. It just doesn't take it, and that's why I said I feel bad for Tobias because. I mean, I shouldn't listen to social media as much I do, but he's like the most polarizing person on Twitter right now because everyone's so frustrated with him. But I'm like, again, I go back to our last pod. If people didn't know how much he freaking earned, would they even really care that much? Because pick your poison. Everybody wasn't doing their greatest consistently this season. Kind of couldn't really help it. I just get frustrated because the reality of the situation is Tobias has always probably been that type of a player, hence why he's been on 5 different teams. But at the same time, I feel like someone like him should be honored for the role that he can play because obviously he needs somebody like Ben to kind of help him shine. Like he needs help. Like if he doesn't have that help, he's bitching about foul calls or whatever, and then he loses his whole.
And like we talked, like we talked about last time, like a lot of these guys don't know how to create their own shots.
Yeah,
they don't. They really don't, and that's one of the few things that Ben was really good at. You know?
Yeah, well, Ben also kept the pace. He also kept the pace and kept it colorful.
Yeah, he can create shots for people. He played great defense. I mean, his offense wasn't when he drove to the freaking paint. Yeah, his scoring was good, but you know, because nobody could stop him doing that. But it just sucks that he just kind of gave up on himself.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just looked.
I know we both saw. We got distracted. Sixers game.
I'm talking at the same time. I'm like, oh.
We were like, oh, crap, he landed on his hip.
Well, he jumped right back up though. So,
I knew he was going too fast. I said, shit. I thought nobody was there to pass it to. I think he was looking for Tobias. Tobias got there late, but he didn't want to pass at that point. Did he make the basket?
No, he just missed it. He was off like an inch. Yeah, he bounced it off the front of the.
Well, at least he popped back up because we all go, oh, not another one.
Yeah, Embiid is so long. Look how many strides it took him to get from one end to the other. He did it like 5.
Basket. Right.
It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. Like, what the hell?
That's why Matisse is so airy that it's like the wind caught his ass. That's why he fell because he's so light. So he already is fast with it. Thank God he's still good on defense because even when Matisse was out for a while, you knew he wasn't 100% himself either because he was just fouling, not even defending. He was just throwing his body every which way. He had no energy. Yeah. So COVID has definitely been a bitch this year, and has definitely wiped out most of our team. But the reality is it's hard to be,
They're hanging tough right now, but we still got to get another piece for the trade deadline. We need another piece.
What is this? February 15th is coming up.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. If we get another piece,
when is your birthday again, Ed? You're in February too.
Yeah, the 26th. Yeah.
February 26th.
Big old 4-5. I'm old as fuck.
4-3. Don't worry. I'll be there in 44. I will be 40-40 in September. It doesn't really matter. It's how you feel. But honestly,
I'm good. I'm good.
I have to admit that by next month, we have to be back in the office 3 times a week. I'm like, I can't even bitch this time. I'm not going to complain because I really do think my bones do need to be walking a little bit more. So I always get totally feeling it when I'm getting to work. Okay, so moving on. My other subject I want to talk about was the coaching situation, the black coach.
I'm gonna say this, and it's very offensive, but fuck the Miami Dolphins. Sorry, that was bullshit.
First of all,
sorry, that
out of
man,
all the guys they could have fired first, it wasn't.
Yeah, that man had almost 20 wins in 2 years. Are you gonna fire him?
We're talking about Brian Flores for all those who don't know, but yeah, it's ridiculous, especially because those guys were playing for him. I mean, come on, Mac Hollins, our former Eagle, was balling this season. And so you
Yeah.
can't tell me that doesn't motivate you if a coach, and he's also has a good reputation pretty much outside of the Miami Dolphins organization.
Yeah.
So I don't see any other reason why they did this unless they had someone else in mind or someone's just being fucking reckless in the front office, and doesn't realize what they have, which
I
means
mean,
he's probably going to be on somewhere next that's going to
oh,
kick somebody's ass.
he's gonna get a job. He'll get a
He
job real
is.
fast
I don't worry
because
about it, but I agree with what someone said on the radio today. He's not going to be quick to join, knowing how this is how they did him in Miami. Like he's probably going to be, really
yeah,
decisive, because he can
well,
afford to be
yeah,
at
and
this
the
point.
whole because he had bunch of injuries this year. In the beginning, they're the only team to go to actually have seven. They had 7 losses in a row, but then they also ran out 7 wins in a row too,
I mean,
and
honestly, this team has pretty good defense
just
too.
missed the playoffs.
Just
Just
missed
missed the
it. Yeah.
playoffs.
They were
Like,
they put up some good wins against certain teams that were
yeah,
like, wait, what? You lost to the
he
Dolphins?
he brought them back and made him a contender, and you fired this man. I think that's
Yeah,
just bad. And
that was
now
very disappointing.
we're looking at the fact that there's only one black head coach in the whole league,
Good old Mike Tomlin, but come on, let's be real.
and we're looking at what 70% of the players in the league are black, and we got one black coach. As I was watching Colin the herd today, and he was like that makes no sense to me. We have to do better. That's exactly was his exact words.
At the end of the day, you got all
You
those coaches that are
know,
still holding clipboards and being
sorry.
OC or DC coordinators, and that's bullshit because people like Lovey
Yeah.
Smith, who used to be a starting coach,
Mm-hmm.
you got Eric Bieniemy, who everyone was saying they thought he would get a job by now. So obviously somebody's a hater,
Yeah.
which I guess is good for Andy, but it's not good for a team who possibly could use somebody who he should be trying to up himself and be a head coach by now.
Yeah.
Like, why you got to sit there and slum under Andy? Like, Andy's not going to be coaching too much longer. You know what I mean? So why is it too scary to go for Eric Bieniemy? And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, the Houston Texan firing didn't shock me because of how
Yeah. I mean,
obviously
they had a shitty
organization is
year,
bullshit
but
anyway.
yeah.
I mean, let's be real. This whole pink elephant with Deshaun Watson right now is looming over somebody's team who's going to get that drama once he, because we don't know what the freak is going on with that kid.
If they reinstate him,
If they reinstate him.
if and when he gets reinstated,
Because we haven't heard any final decision on whether he's going to court, whether he's getting charged.
No, it's been quiet.
It's been very quiet, and I don't even care how you look at it though. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and I am someone who was really pulling for him because I didn't want to believe a word of it. But it's kind of obvious as a female, once that shit starts coming out in multiple mouths, whether it be true or not, there's a kernel of truth somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that there's people who probably assisted him with all this stuff, I mean, whether you have a freaky side or whatever, that shit shouldn't be that public,
Yeah.
And the fact that you got some people that probably need some damn therapy now, but you worried about losing your job. And what makes me more mad is because he's actually talented. And I don't know why some of these talented players are the biggest a-holes transitioning to Aaron Rodgers as a perfect example of someone who's a great player, but he's clearly has no priorities when it comes to public health.
These guys get their talent and they don't get any accountability at all.
No, because they've never had to, because their talent made way for them. And I get it.
Yeah,
but it's very disappointing as a black man to watch someone like Deshaun Watson squander an opportunity to not be a tainted statistic of a QB now because you can't control.
And we know how talented he is.
I mean, come on. We always kept saying, why is he still playing for this organization?
Trash
Like he's wasting his talent.
Yeah.
They took all his weapons, got rid of D-Hop.
Because him and Hopkins were like money. They were like money together.
They were the best connection. It just everybody else couldn't keep up with him in the team, but that was the best connection. And yet, and then you want to hide behind the fact that the reality was that organization didn't like D-Hop either for certain reasons, which we'll probably never know the truth. But it wasn't any real reason why they traded him, especially when Deshaun was like, "What the fuck are y'all doing? Trading away my target?"
Yeah.
So it's a shame, and it's hard to see any of these coaches lose their jobs, especially when it's not for any real reason. And now you got to deal with the fact that there's going to be new coaches obviously on other teams, but will they be the right teams? You know what I mean? And will they be? You have to understand there has to be chemistry with the quarterback too.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Fields definitely would probably benefit from someone like Brian Flores.
There's 8 teams right now with no head coaches,
right?
Or 8 or more teams with no head coaches right now.
Now, if they decide,
and one of them's in the playoffs.
How about it?
The Raiders.
The
Yeah.
Raiders, and the reality is, I hope they don't play him either because I'm like, he brought that team back from despair too.
Yeah.
So there's good
I mean,
stories in some of these teams.
he deserves at least a year or two shot.
Yeah,
The
like I don't
interim
see
head
the reason
coach.
why. I mean, who do you really want to go in that organization when it's still kind of just now starting to explore itself? Like, all the more reason why like Brian Flores being fired made no sense because I'm like, if you want the Dolphins to go somewhere, you're starting to build something with Tua. Now, if you don't like Tua, that's fine. Tua can get traded, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
whether or not he wanted Deshaun Watson, that should be irrelevant because whoever he's going to get is who's going to get the brunt of his good coaching.
Oh yeah. I mean, and who knows? Like with the Raiders, they may move on from Derek Carr. He's free agency this year,
They
right?
honestly should. I'm not a fan, but I mean, I'm impressed with the fact that he's
I
come back so far. But I've
mean,
never been a fan of his.
look what Carr has done with his team over the past like few
That's what I'm
years.
saying. Like,
But
you can't hate when he's come this far. I mean,
yeah,
he's quit. He's lost so many times that it's like, why is he even bothering? But this year is his year, so he's got to. I mean, come on. Anybody who watched that Chargers Raiders game, that game was off the hook for what was it, a Sunday night, right? It was
oh god, it was so good. Yeah,
it was such a good game, and I said, you know what I mean. At one point,
and
even my dumbass thought they should just tie, but I'm like, no,
well,
you don't want to tie.
he's got a lot of things going in his favor going into next year because
Yeah.
because right now there's not a lot of good quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
There's not anybody that's blowing the doors off that's coming out of college.
That's
Maybe
true.
the guy from Pittsburgh. That's about it. Coming in out of the draft, Pritchard.
Pickett.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pickett, and then there's supposedly they're talking about some other that guy.
Yeah,
but it's not like a big buzz.
It's not a big buzz, but Pritchard has more. Pickett has more on him than
I
anybody.
get it, but
and there's not
in his game though. His championship game wasn't that impressive. So
yeah, I mean he just couldn't take the pressure, but he's still coming out. So
yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
Those are there's only a handful of guys. Maybe even as a kid from Cincinnati coming out this year. I don't know.
I don't know either because I haven't even heard much about him.
Yeah, I mean he was okay this year, but he may stay another year. But there's nobody. That's why I hope we don't spend our first round pick on any quarterbacks this year because there's nobody coming out.
For the Eagles to have 3 first round picks, we need to be focusing on defense.
That's going to be
worth it. We need to get some cornerbacks.
Damn.
We need to get some thick boys from Georgia.
I will take that linebacker from Georgia in a heartbeat.
I'm saying, look, I said I was looking at the names too, and the linebacker. Like I want him.
Yeah, linebacker. Yes, I'm talking about linebacker from Georgia.
The linebacker or that big fat dude. Or talking about.
Or if that running back is around in the second round, I'd take him too.
If Penn State, because
they're running back from Georgia. Chase is a monster.
Chase, Dotson from Penn State, any of them brothers, if they're available, the first 10.
He's a big boy too.
Yeah,
big boy. Big,
we need somebody to break tackles. We need speed.
He's 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. That's a big kid.
So my whole thing is it shouldn't even be focused on QBs. It should be focused on defense. And if there's safeties, because they say there's a lot of good safeties this season.
Yeah, this should be a good safety.
We need cornerback, D-back help like a motherfucker.
I know we're getting off the topic here, but I would not be upset if we spent those first 3 rounds on defense because we need it bad.
It'll be a first. It'll be.
I would not be upset at all
to get some quality defense because let's face it, we know we only got 1 more year left with BG, and without him, they couldn't plug the middle.
Safety definitely priority in the first 2 picks.
And everybody keeps talking about how TJ's been the most standout linebacker until Davion went down again.
If you get another guy to put out there with him, oh man,
that's what I'm saying. So to me, defense was always the Eagles' bread and butter anyway. So we need to get back to getting back where they said defense wins championships. So get some defensive structure, please.
You get another guy to play opposite of Slay.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't think
or somebody that Slay can mold before he retires.
Right.
Slay's not going to be around too much longer.
No, he's not. We got him at the brunt end, which is what I hate, but whatever. I mean, he always wanted to come here, but we didn't get him before.
Yeah.
We lucked out even get him at all.
But we can get somebody to solidify that second CB2 spot.
Yes.
Because
I don't think Nelson is it personally. No, I'm not a fan.
No, he's not.
I'm not a fan, and we need safety like a motherfucker.
He's good enough for me.
He's good enough. I mean, that's the problem. We always have just good enough. And Avante stepped up, so obviously he's going to be worth his contract now that he got re-signed. But they need some help.
Yeah,
Rodney needs help.
Maddox is good in position, and Rodney looks good coming off that
Rodney
injury.
has had incredible leaps and bounds,
He looks
but
great coming off that injury. And
yeah, those
but
two have
who
been the most solid
but
this year. But it's
but
not saying
who's
much.
going to play strong safety though?
Right. And
No,
we needed Brian
it's
Dawkins type energy kid. Like we need somebody who's really hungry and can
yeah,
actually deliver. I mean, a lot of these guys are hungry, but they don't really deliver because they don't,
yeah,
Kevon Wallace has been getting hurt every time from
yeah.
special
And
teams. And
and that sucks because he could have been good if he just
I
stopped getting
know
hurt
he
so
could have been. He was
much.
a Clemson kid. I thought he was going to
Yeah,
break out, but he's just not ready
and
yet.
I, and I,
And
and I thought he was a steal in the draft.
do I
But
see Nia Long there? I think she was just clapping her husband. I
I didn't
thought I
see
just saw her standing next to him clapping because that's Nia Long's husband.
who.
Ime, the
Oh,
coach. Yeah, the coach. She's Nia Long's. I shouldn't say husband. She's not married again. Baby father. But anyway, well, when they show it again, you'll see it. I think her hair's long.
Joel just lost his streak.
Oh damn it!
He
He
only
was
had
going
25.
30 points. Yeah, well, he
Yeah.
needed a
Hey,
break
but
too.
you know what? They got the win. That's
They
all he
got the
cares.
win, and he needed a
That's
break
all he
because
cares about anyway. He doesn't care
nobody
about
the last game was really contributing. So
because
this is how they made up for it.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I'm sure when they ask him in press conferences about that, he's going to be like, I don't care about that.
he's gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. We actually
We
won.
won. We won. That's all that matters.
Because last game, like I said, the other team kind of petered out on him.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't get 30 points every night without them not contributing.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm happy they won. But yeah, here's the reality too. We know that the MLB has locked out. So I don't know when we're going to be talking about Phillies again. But they keep saying they're talking, and then they're saying stuff is getting. So I don't know if they're stalling because they're worried about the
Oh
fallout
no, they got to
financially of
hurry up because
COVID.
soon
Yeah, it's
the
spring.
winter meetings should be going on right now, and they're
Yeah,
supposed to
but
have every
and spring training's coming up
spring
next month.
training's coming up. Yeah, I
So
mean,
I don't
that's
know
when
how long they're going to
they start
stall.
packing up, moving to Clearwater for a little bit.
Right. And they're
Yeah,
going to have nothing to do. So my
and
whole thing is you better
but
just
this
hope you
team
don't.
has so many holes right now that they
Right.
need to sign some players. There's
I
some
mean,
guys
they
they
got
need
a
to
pitcher,
figure
right?
out.
Before it started, right?
Yeah, they
They
got
got
a
a right-hand
closer,
pitcher.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
he's a good closer too.
And you know that what's his name? Bryce is on pins and needles, like, get over this shit so I can get some people in here so I can recruit.
Oh yeah, he's ready to go.
Bryce is already like, I'm done with this bullshit. Like, oh, y'all want to be greedy, fine, but
There's a
we're not
couple
gonna go.
guys I wanted them to go after, and I'm just like, come on, man. Now they
Yeah,
can't go, and now they can't do anything until they hear
right.
more about this whole lockup thing. So I'm hoping,
I don't
I'm
remember how
hoping
long
that
these
it
last. How
changes.
long did they usually last? I mean, why?
Uh,
I don't remember when they had it before because I wasn't really focused on baseball then. But
well, the lockout, that last lockout was a long time. Like it
oh, it
was
was.
a good minute, yeah. But they're running. They gotta hurry up though because I don't want it to like. I don't know if they're gonna open up. They can actually still talk to players yet, but
Right. We don't want
I
to
would
go
like
in
to
with
see
most
that.
of these same guys though. We can't. Like I know they're not
Well,
going to be able to clean up everything, but there's some
we
guys that we could really use to move like right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a there's a lot of people we didn't resign, so that's why there's a lot of spots open.
Right.
I mean,
Wait,
I'm hoping.
did we not resign what's his name? Didi, or are we keeping
No,
Didi?
Didi was already. I think Didi has one more year on his contract.
Okay, yeah.
He was but like we didn't sign McCutcheon, which I'm hoping they bring him back on a
I'm
veteran
hoping that
minimum.
changes. Yeah.
Bring him
I'm
back on a
hoping.
veteran minimum
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
great for the locker room, even if he doesn't start every day. He's not an everyday player.
Yeah, he's one of those people. He's like Danny Green. Just bring him off the bench. Like he may not be good.
He fuels that team, and I love having him there.
Yeah, me too. I do.
So.
I know you shouldn't really pay someone for that because we always love our character people that don't do shit anymore. But hence the reason why I'm always finding for Mike Scott.
But he's won games for us before.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But you know how people always say, like, well, he only gives so much, so he's not worth the money. I'm like, bullshit. There are some vets that are worth the money coming off the bench. As long as they don't have an issue with coming off the bench.
Yeah.
I'm still mad at JJ Redick because he couldn't just eat his pride and just come off the bench one more time instead of retiring after coming off Mavericks.
He got traded to a team he didn't want to play for.
He didn't even want to play for them, and now
he was like, all right, I'm out.
As soon as he got his podcast back on the air, he started to say, you know what, maybe I should have died. You had a shot, bitch.
Yeah, we were hoping. I was hoping he was going to stay here.
To me, it made sense, or either that go to Brooklyn because he was already in Brooklyn and just come off the bench. Like, what is the assault to your ego coming off the bench? Like, if you don't got it anymore, you ain't got it. At least you're playing still, just not as often. I guess it's easier said than done because some guys just can't stop.
Yes, that's true. I mean, they think that they think, oh, I'm an everyday player. I'm this, I'm that. But
no,
in reality, their body says, no, you're not.
Right.
When their knees say, "No, you're not an everyday player. You need to go sit your ass down."
Yeah. And then a week later, they're doing a retirement video to their social
Yeah,
media. So it's like,
yeah.
see, told you. He
Uh-huh.
could have just spent his last year back here at least to help them out because maybe they would have even gotten farther that year. Who knows?
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, at this point, everybody's getting hurt. I mean, Jimmy's gotten hurt several times since being on the Heat, but they've almost gotten to a playoff that mattered. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Heat now. I know that a lot of teams obviously have been fucked up due to the COVID and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
so I don't know. It'll be a very interesting finals round because everyone wants to believe that the Lakers could still sneak in there, but I'm like, at this point they've pretty much self-destructed. And I wonder why with all those big ass men, and you thought that was going to really help with nobody
And
playing defense.
half of them got injured too. So it's
Right.
like, yeah.
I mean, AD to me is the most overpaid injured big man ever in the NBA.
Yeah.
And LeBron might as well just coach because I feel like half the time he's just telling people what to do anyway. Like,
Yeah,
what is the
right.
point of playing? You're just standing on the back waiting for Bronny to show up so you can play
He
your
runs.
last year.
They call timeout. He grabs a whiteboard for the coach.
I'm just saying, like, come on, let's just do this. Never mind, you sit back. He's secretly recruiting people. They say he's already getting some people out and getting them traded. It's like, I don't know how you have faith in somebody. As soon as they start like Rajon's already gone again. Like Rajon been on 12 teams. Like
LeBron's like a mob boss. He's like, you gonna do what the family says, or you're gonna get out, right?
He's behind the scenes going, get rid of him now.
Yeah,
just
right.
do it. Yeah. So I don't know. Maxey is a diamond in the rough. Thank God for him because
he's coming into his own, which I like.
He's a rookie no more. Eventually they'll stop talking about because for a while I didn't know what the pick and roll shit meant, but now I see why that's important with him and Joel. I think Joel showed a couple sides actually a couple months ago when he started doing a little. You notice he's been talking more about his handles, and I would never talk about handles with our team because nobody has handles on the Sixers. Only person I think who has true good handles is Kyrie Irving. He's the only person that impresses me when it comes to handles. Because I'm like, why do nobody know how to dribble on the Sixers? Like, I feel like none of the guys really do any kind of thing. And within the last couple months, Joel has every now and then pulled out some backyard shit that I was like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
He did that back pass to Matisse that one time to the basket. And then a couple times he does that step back and fade thing. And I'm like, the hell did Kobe come into him? Like what?
I mean,
but it's like every now and then,
Yeah, you get a big man doing that. That's crazy.
A
that's
big
hard.
man doing that. That's why he upsets the
That's hard. That's hard to defend. Like you got a big man that can do that. Like,
but that's why he pisses off so many of the older heads.
That's
they
like,
look at him like I couldn't do that shit.
That's like old school Dirk. Remember how Dirk Nowitzki used to play? Like, oh shit.
Yeah, Dirk Nowitzki, exactly.
A guy that tall can shoot the jumper. Like, and you can't block it. Once he elevates, all right, he's already 9 feet in the air. How am I going to block him? Like.
If he wasn't clumsy sometimes, honestly, that dude would have took out everybody. I mean, every game would be hard to play. If he didn't have sometimes his health issues and stamina and, he
wasn't that athletic, but he was a great
athletic. Player. That's basically the bottom line.
I mean,
but that's
what Joel has. I mean, Joel's athletic. He's not. Dirk was not athletic, but Dirk was.
You're saying Dirk was.
But Dirk was the man.
No, Dirk was the man. That's why when he retired, it's a big deal because it's like you realize how old you've gotten now. Because if Dirk Nowitzki is retiring, like who the fuck else is retiring? Meanwhile, Boogie Cousins keeps getting put on everybody's damn team. How does Boogie still have a job? I'm still trying to figure who the hell wants to sign Boogie again? Like
limping his ass out there.
He just, I forget where he just went. He just went and signed on somebody's team. And I said, why? Why do you have Boogie on there? What is he supposed to do? Is he just a rebounder? Like, what the fuck? Yeah. He's become the new 10-day guy without even trying. But anyway, so to wrap this up, since the game is over, yay. I'm still not exactly excited about a playoff game for the Sixers, but they might shock me.
I mean, we'll see. If they do, like I said, they do something during the draft that can immediately improve them. If they get somebody that can contribute like immediately, that improves their odds, to actually finish at a better seeding and actually make a run.
I'm still cracking up the fact that Damian Lillard was in Philly getting surgery. I'm like, what the fuck is that about?
Well, Philly has good hospitals, so I mean, that's
I heard, but then I kind of thought, was there a slight meeting before he went to surgery?
Yeah, right.
About what might happen next year? Maybe he's finally hearing us.
I'm so glad we didn't make that trade for McCullough, TJ.
Yeah,
TJ, he's out. He's done. So
CJ's out.
Yeah, he's got that lung issue. He's out.
Oh,
Who
he hasn't
knows?
come back since then. Yeah. Okay. I remember when he
Nope.
went out. Yeah. And you know what? That's up there with that guy. What was that guy that came back on the Nets that had the blood issue?
Yeah.
And he came back though. That's why I'm saying like maybe he'll come back next season. But even so, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't take CJ because obviously his health was becoming an issue.
Hmm.
But Dame to me has no reason to stay in Portland. But I was so tired of people hoping that he would come that I said stop. If he wanted to come, he would come. But now
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I
he's
mean,
got. There. He's a free agent after this year.
but that's why I guess why everybody started talking again. But I
Yeah.
still didn't understand why because I said he clearly is not interested. He would have gave a kind of a hint because when
Yeah.
they last played here, everybody was calling him, come to
Yeah.
Philly,
They want him to come to
MVP.
Philly.
They want to
Yeah. I
come so
mean,
bad, and he was like, okay,
they were trying to recruit him. In. Well, because they knew he didn't get along with the upper management. Then the guy was fired anyway. So
yeah, that's true.
uh,
We'll
that
see what
happened
happens.
right after.
Honestly, here's the thing with Philly sports: it's never a dull moment. You know, to quote a friend of mine, he used to always say that never a dull moment. I just think that there's
Nah.
there's always something to always say, like we think we know our team, and then they turn around and do some crazy crap. So let's just think. I'm gonna think positive because you already decided that they could have a chance. I'm gonna just say that the Eagles could possibly win this. Only score I can see is what I've been hearing a little bit makes more sense, like a 24-21 win. Like it's going to be hella close. I don't even know why I was keep saying hella because that's a West Coast word. I think it's because I'm watching Buckets so much. Buckets, shout out to Zach and Josiah. But I keep hearing the West Coast they say hella all the time as like as an adverb. But I feel like at this point it's wishful thinking. But at the same time, we also know that if Tom Brady gets frustrated enough, he could start pressing and anything could happen. You know, maybe Avante get lucky and all of a sudden stumble into an interception or a pick six. Something could happen. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean,
I'm just praying. I know one
it's
thing I'll
good.
be drinking from
It's
the beginning of that game.
yes. It's gonna be fun to watch. That's
I
all I
was
can
good
say.
last game. I didn't drink at all. I was like, I don't need to drink all the time. I need to cut down. And then I said, this game, as soon as it started inching closer to today, I said, yeah, it's gonna be a tequila fest this weekend. It's gonna be a tequila and
Yeah,
juice fest,
it's gonna be
and
fun
maybe
to
some
watch. So
wings.
definitely.
It is gonna be fun. And as I say, next time we will do this. I told you I'm gonna try to oil this engine with this opening. I'm gonna have to ask Mr. Gail Saunders, shout out, how to do this better because when
Yeah.
they opened their Fourth and John, they got this thing oiled. I said shit. So
Yeah.
we're gonna end Birds of a Feather right now. Ed, I'll talk to you soon. Birds of a Feather, go birds.
Go birds.
We'll holla. Holla.